Belle is a very special engine on the island of Sodor. She works for the Sodor Search and Rescue Center. Whenever there is a fire, she will come and put it out with her special water cannons. She helps to keep the island safe. Sometimes, if there isn't anything to do, Belle will offer her assistance to the Fat Controller's railway and help out with any jobs that need doing. One afternoon, Belle was helping out at the fishing village. She was taking over a train for Arthur while he was away being mended. The smell of fish was everywhere. Belle was trying hard to ignore it, but it wasn't as easy as she had hoped.
Poor! What a stink! How does Arthur put up with all this fish?
She pushed the vans into place so the workmen could load the fish inside them. Then Billy puffed past. He was pulling trucks of milk to take to the chocolate factory. He stopped to see Belle.
Hello, Belle. Wow, you're doing a smelly job, aren't you?
It's hard to do, Billy, but at least I can do it.
You have to be brave to handle the fish and put up with the smell. That's probably why only big engines do this job.
Belle was surprised.
You would be chosen to do this job if no one else would do it.
Pah, don't be silly, Belle. Fish is not the sort of load you would see me carry. It's too smelly for me.
Any engine can pull fish trucks. You have to be able to look after fish well.
You silly engine. It's just fish. What's it going to do? Jump out of the van and back into the water? Don't be ridiculous.
This was making Belle cross.
I can look after fish well. Probably better than you ever could.
You'd never catch me pulling fish trucks. There would be no place for me anywhere on the train.
Billy laughed as he puffed away. Belle glared at Billy as she watched him go.
That Billy is too puffed up. He doesn't know anything about fish.
Soon, Belle was on her way to Brendam Docks with her trucks. They had to be delivered to a waiting ship. But Belle was still thinking about Billy.
I'd like to teach Billy a thing or two about fish.
As Belle puffed along the line, she passed Whiff. He was on his way to the rubbish yards. He could smell the fish as he went past.
Wow, you can smell that fish from miles around, Belle.
Belle arrived at the docks where the ship was waiting. Salty was waiting too.
Aye, well done, Belle. Ye got the fish delivered here on time. The ship will take care of the fish for now.
Thank you, Salty.
Then Thomas arrived with some empty flatbeds. He was pleased to see Belle.
Hello, Belle.
Hello, Thomas.
Thomas could see that Belle was upset.
What's the matter, Belle?
It's Billy. He says pulling fish is a job for the big engines only. And he says you have to be able to put up with the smell of fish.
Don't listen to Billy. He's just being silly. He thinks pulling fish is not the sort of job for him.
Pulling fish is for any engine, big or small. I work with fish and I'm alright with it. Ha ha!
Belle smiled at her two friends. The Fat Controller arrived.
Belle, I'm pleased with you. You have shown me that you can do very well at the fishing village. You have been a really useful engine.
Thank you, sir.
I need you to help me with an important job tomorrow morning.
Oh, what job is that, sir?
I need you to take Henry's place on the Flying Kipper tomorrow morning. Henry is unable to take the train as he is at the steamworks for repairs.
This made Belle worry. She had never pulled the Flying Kipper before.
I suppose I could, sir, but I'm not sure if I could stay awake for that long.
That's no problem, Belle. You can go back to the shed and have some sleep, and then you'll have plenty of energy for tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I'll go back to my shed now.
Good girl. Remember, you must not be late. Otherwise, the fish will go off and stink.
As the Fat Controller left, Belle was starting to feel worried. Thomas wanted to help his friend.
Don't worry, Belle. You'll be all right. You're a big, strong engine, and a fast one too. You're just the right engine for the job.
Oh yes, Belle. Me and Thomas both agree that you'll be just fine with the Flying Kipper.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Salty. I'd better go back and get some sleep.
Good luck, Belle.
Belle arrived back at the shed and puffed onto the turntable. Flying the Fire Engine arrived back after putting out a fire.
Belle, it's not bedtime already, is it?
No, Flynn. The Fat Controller has asked me to look after the Flying Kipper for Henry tomorrow morning, so I'm having an early night.
Oh, well, I hope you can do it. Fish is a very smelly cargo. Yuck, I can't bear to look at it.
It's just fish, Flynn. And besides, I'll be alright. A few fish don't bother me. Wish me luck, Flynn. Oh, good night.
Good night, Belle, and good luck.
Belle's crew put out her fire and then went back home to rest. As the door shut, Belle closed her eyes and went to sleep. Early the next morning, Belle's firemen sorted out the fire, and the driver made sure all the moving parts were oiled. Belle was feeling excited about pulling the Flying Kipper.
Maybe pulling the Flying Kipper won't be so bad after all.
Belle set off quietly out of the shed so that she didn't wake anyone up. Belle puffed along the lines towards the docks. She knew the Fat Controller was relying on her.
I'll be alright. Thomas and Sodor did say I could do it, plus I can show Billy that I can handle fish better than him anticipates.
Belle arrived at the docks where the train was waiting. Porter was there. He shunted the trucks into place.
Hello, you must be Belle. I'm Porter.
Hello, Porter. Pleased to meet you. I'm here to take the Flying Kipper.
Well, it's all here and ready to go for you, Belle.
Thank you, Porter.
Porter puffed happily back to his shed, and Belle backed up onto the train. The driver coupled up as she was ready to go. The guard showed his green lamp, and Belle started her journey pulling the Flying Kipper. Belle was very excited. This was her first early morning train that she had ever taken. She puffed through the stations as quietly as she could. She didn't make one sound at all.
Sleep well, Sodor.
The driver and farmer were keeping an eye on the fire and seeing what else was up ahead.
Keep us up, Belle, and we'll hopefully be there before breakfast.
Belle was pleased. This would mean the Fat Controller would be very happy with her. Then she ran to the bed. She saw a signalman waving a red flag.
Oh no! What's the matter?
I'm sorry, Belle, but the repairs on the tracks ahead aren't finished yet. I can't let you through until they are finished.
Oh no! I can't be late. I'm pulling the Flying Kipper. If I wait too long, then the fish will stink.
Can't be helped, Belle. You'll just have to wait until it's all clear.
Belle sighed. There was nothing that she could do. Belle waited and waited, but her signal was still red. She began to think what would happen if she didn't deliver the Flying Kipper on time. Her thoughts imagined the Fat Controllers talking severely to her.
Engines on my railway are never late. You have let me down.
Then she thought about what Gordon, Henry, and James would say. She could imagine them teasing and saying hurtful things to her.
I'll never leave you with the Flying Kipper again.
You certainly are reliable for the job.
And we all thought you were really useful.
Oh.
Then, worst of all, she imagined Billy laughing and making jokes at her.
You really can't handle fish at all. You'll never be trusted with fish ever again.
I mustn't be late. I have to get to the station on time. I don't want the Fat Controller to be cross with me.
She looked at her signal. It was still red.
A watch signal never changes. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll make it in time.
But Belle was beginning to have her doubts. Then she heard a clunk. She looked up and saw her signal had turned green. The signalman ran out quickly to her.
On your way, Belle. The tracks have been repaired. It's safe to go through.
Belle was delighted. She puffed away feeling relieved. The signalman waved as Belle puffed into the distance. Belle went faster, trying to make up for lost time. But when she saw the workmen and the signs telling her to slow down, the driver put on a handbrake. Belle puffed carefully past the workman. She rang her bell happily.
Well done, everyone.
The workmen cheered and waved as Belle went by. They cheered her on as the Flying Kipper went on ahead.
Come on, Belle. Let's try and make up for lost time. But take it steady, please.
Yes, sir. I will, sir.
Belle's wheels went faster as she rocked along the line. At last, Belle arrived at the station with her order of fish. The men were there unloading the trucks. They cheered and clapped Belle as she pulled into the station.
Well done, Belle. You've delivered the train in time.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry I'm late, though.
It's alright, Belle. The Fat Controller knows what happened and will speak to you later. I believe he has a place reserved for you at Timothy's Sheds.
What do you think of that, Belle?
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
When she was uncoupled, Belle set off for Tipmer's Sheds. By the time she got there, the sun had risen and the engines were getting ready to work. Belle was pleased to see her friends.
Good morning to you all.
The engines were surprised to see Belle, but Thomas was pleased to see her. Then as Belle was being turned to go into the shed, the Fat Controller arrived. He came to see Belle.
Well done, Belle. I am very proud of you. You got the Flying Kipper delivered in time.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry I was late, though. I was kept waiting at a signal for a while.
It's all right, Belle. The delay wasn't your fault. You did your best, and I think that you did well to be so patient.
All the engines agreed.
Well done, Belle.
Yes, well done for looking after the Flying Kipper.
You are indeed a credit to the railway.
Belle's cheeks went a bright red.
Hello, Belle. What's this I hear about you getting stuck at a signal for so long? And we're a long fish train too.
I did, Billy, but I got to the station in the end.
I hope the fish didn't smell when you got there.
That's enough, Billy. That's enough. Now what am I going to do? The fishing village needs an engine to collect the fish delivery today, and Arthur is still being repaired.
The engines all looked at each other. They didn't want to go anywhere near the smelly fish. Then Belle had an idea.
How about Billy, sir? I'm sure he can put up with the smell of fish.
Well, I would, but...
What a good idea! Billy, you will look after the fish until Arthur returns.
But sir,
Don't argue with me, Billy. You've been given a job to do. Now do as you are told, please.
Yes, sir.
Then Belle saw a chance to be cheeky.
Come on, Billy. I'm sure you could give the fish train a try.
All the engines laughed and laughed. Billy felt very embarrassed. He raced away as fast as he could. Then the engines left the sheds to go to work. Belle closed her eyes and went happily to sleep.